Good evening and good afternoon. Welcome back to the Untold Archives.
We are on episode 6 this week, and after last week, I think everybody is pretty excited. I know I've been waiting all week for this.
So scared.
Nervous, excited. Maybe I'll puke a little. Maybe you guys will puke a little. Maybe Rush will continue to puke. Who knows?
Definitely.
Are you nerds ready to play some D&D?
Ready. I'm so ready.
I'm scared.
Right. There's reason to be scared. Scary things are happening right now. Gael?
Daddy.
We love it. We love the nerves. So previously in the Carnarium, we left off on Ken was looking over this valley where he saw a war camp. He was the only one who could see it due to his eyeball enhancement that he has. He and Rush surveyed and kind of mapped out the region while the others sat and kind of hung out underneath this partially fallen tree. There was a scene where Oleg and Gael did a little bit of training, came together a little bit. There may or may not have been an accidental sexy tackle. It was probably not, though. That was probably just in my head. I don't know. After that, Gael went and talked to Torin. They had a little bit of a check-in about how each other were doing. And they sent off Finn, the scout of the Ward Knights, to try and go and warn the rest of the Ward Knights so that they could bolster the forces of the army before this army that is less than 2 days from the wards was able to march and advance south. They were planning how they were going to enter the camp when they were found by a scouting party, because the Minotaurs that they left alive made their way back to the war camp and told and sent out search parties of various numbers. So the fight was eventually won at the very near cost of Rush's life, and Rush made his first kill, and although that's something that he wasn't really sure that he ever wanted to do. Poor baby Rush. You're a man now. Little middle-aged quick step. So, as they're debating and planning on what their next step should be, if they should be resting, if they should be moving forward towards the war camp, what should our next steps be with Malakar, Gael comes up with a plan to send a message to Malakar. As she comes up with this plan, what should the message be, she asked Torin, and Torin says something that made his brother a little suspicious and a little angry. Tell him Torin is here. And we saw a big falling out between the two brothers, where Torin ended up walking away. He was followed by the others, and another search party was found in the woods, kind of made up of the same ones that you guys fought, one of the orc-ogre hybrids, a couple of minotaurs, and then a couple of orcs. The party was looking a little depleted at this point, and they weren't really sure what they should do. And the scouting party was approached by Torin, and instead of attacking, they heard his name and escorted him into camp. Upon hearing this, Ken ran to the lip of the canyon and shouted Torin's name, despite Oleg's best attempt at grappling him and silencing him. So that is where we left off, and we are going to pick up with Gael and Anariel in the woods. And Rush, I believe you're there as well.
At this point, Gael is, she's in shock. She is at an absolute loss for words. She is planted where she stood, trying to process everything that just happened.
I will run over to her. I'm assuming that we're pretty much alone.
Other than Rush, yes.
Yeah, my little man. I will run over to Gael and get down to her level and just grab her on the shoulders and start shaking her. Gael, come on, you need to get up. We have to go. Ken is going to kill Torin. Come on.
When you say Ken is going to kill Torin, it's like a punch in the gut. And there is a rage that starts to grow and build where she felt that punch. And Anariel, you can see that her eyes change from this soft grass green and they start to glow this fiery red. And as she looks up and her eyes catch your eyes, you can see that her hair from the roots start to spread again with that fiery red ember from the roots down to the tips. And it seems almost as there's like a heat coming off of her. Everything about her face goes from that soft, joyful, chubby cheek face to more angular and more angry and more gaunt. And something about just that fire within her brings her to her feet. And her jaw is set and her lips are pressed into this hard line. And she looks at you. Where'd they go?
And she has like this look of worry on her face at your change. They went towards the cliff canyon. That way.
She turns and goes. She turns and starts making her way that way.
All right. Ken and Oleg at the ledge. Ken, you have just shouted Torin's name into the abyss, echoing off the sides of the canyon. You almost feel like the strength of it sent pebbles skittering down the edge. He stopped and looked at you for a moment, then continued walking. What do you do?
You know, I'm all for giving in to impulse and everything, bruv, but I feel like we sort of lost the element of surprise.
Well, like, we lost the element of surprise as soon as he... The moment Torin joined up with Malakar. He'll know everything.
Well, there's no sense waiting.
We
You
should
feel
collect
like-
the others and formulate a plan of entry.
Right. We don't have much time, though. Do you think we're going to be able to convince them? I mean, they were pretty keen on... I just don't want them to get in your head. I feel like there's more at stake than they realize. And I know he's your brother, but... I mean, I owe it to the realm.
Well, like, none of this would have happened if I wasn't upholding my oaths to the realm. Don't begin to doubt me now.
He puts a big-ass hand on your shoulder and just gives you a nod.
Let's regroup.
Right. Maybe we take horse. Get back to him a bit faster.
Very well. Ken will follow Oleg.
Okay. We get on horse. It's spectral, so it doesn't mind the weight.
Who's in front?
Obviously, Oleg. What are you talking about?
Just
Yeah.
curious.
What do you mean?
I need to visualize what's happening, you know.
Oh, grab onto my waist. She's fast. And then I giddy up horse to
Beautiful. And-
I-
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ken's just 1,000-yard stare, like holding on and just looking into the side,
Your
and
cheek
just
pressed to his back.
yeah, dead eyes. Just
That's the only way to do it.
Man, I can visualize it. Let's pop to Torin, who you were greeted by Malakar. He welcomed you with open arms. a literal embrace as you made it into his camp, and he is now leading you towards the tall tower. You are walking through this huge encampment. You see minotaur and orcs and goblins skittering about. In the distance, you see moving around again these orc ogre hybrids that are kind of donning armor and doing military practices, practicing formations and things like that. As you are just being led towards this tower, and he is bringing you inside. And you're, are you just continuing to follow him, or are you? What is your thoughts right now?
I think for now, Torin has a lot on his mind between what just happened with Kid yelling his name, sort of the final call to the oath that he had, and he knows how stubborn his brother can be, especially when he's in a mood like this, and it's a lot. It's weighing on him as he's now with Malakar, this person who he considers a father, walking through this camp that he sees he built, only knowing what the wanted poster said. It's just heavy. It's an oppressive feeling as he's walking through. He's just waiting for the answers that he hopes will come.
Excellent. Malakar leads you into a door at the base of the tower. It's a large, heavy wooden door, but the rest of the tower appears to be made of stone. And as you go inside, it's dark, just lit by sconces on the walls. You take a minute to recognize that of all the castles and the stone buildings that you've been in, there's typically this feeling of damp inside. This must be fairly newly constructed because it still has almost an earthen smell to it. And he brings you up a staircase that is winding along the interior wall that spirals upward. You walk past several different floors, past what appears to be a living quarters, what appears to be a workspace, until eventually you come to the top level of this tower. And as soon as you crest the stairs, you see something that would likely have your jaw dropping. Hundreds of runes are scrawled throughout almost every free space of this area, etched into rock. Any wooden support pillar, runes are carved into it. You yourself have only mastered 2 runes, and there are hundreds in front of you that you can see. And Malakar looks at you almost with a giddiness on his face, an eagerness that you're here to share this with him.
What is all this?
My boy, we're going to bring down the wards.
Okay. First, the runes. What are all these runes? There's hundreds of them.
And he gives you a smile that you can tell he's really proud of himself. Somebody, the people that he's been working with, nobody's understood the magnitude of what he has been creating all this time, and you are the only one who could possibly understand exactly how infinite what he has created is. This is more magic than you have ever seen in your life in this room. Well, this and that. There's some that you'd recognize from our studies, of course, but it's a great thing to bring down a wall of magic. There are, of course, other auxiliary measures in case of interruption, but for the most part, it has taken much.
And this must have taken you months, if not years, to carve all this. Did you do this yourself?
He gives a solemn nod. More time than you think. He takes a breath and he looks at you, making an assessment.
What of the wards? What do you mean bring them down? They've protected the kingdom for years. Why would you bring them down? You fixed them. Why bring them down?
Torin, I was the one who put the hole in the wards that day that I fixed it. And he looks away a moment, and his jaw clenches as he relives something of his past.
Don't tell me this isn't your first time. Some failed attempt? A way to get
No.
in?
No. I possess the power to create gaps, holes. But I needed more. I needed access to the Queen's archives. So I created the hole that no one could repair but me. And I was granted position on the council, position that I needed.
But why bring down the wards in the first place? These creatures out here, they would bring so much harm.
These creatures, you see again, he clenches his jaw. They, and he points south with his hand, they sit in their gilded halls with their clean hands and their pretty lives. And they curse the rest of the realm to live in squalor. The ones they deem monstrous suffer in silence, their voices not echoing beyond that veil. They scrape by on the edges of your so-called civilization. Do you see resources? Do you see mines? Do you see farms? They have been given nothing. Think of the lycanthropes. Think of the vampires. Those who had no choice in their monstrous nature. Destined to what? To this? And again, gestures around at just the stark, cruel landscape where you have to fight to survive.
But let me ask you, if you were able to amass such an army, such a force, tell me, are there towns out here? Are there farms? If you can amass an army, couldn't you teach them some level of civilization? If you let them just pass through the wards, they'll just tear the land apart. I understand what you're saying as far as the kingdom. I get it. But as soon as you bring this level of people through, they would wreak havoc on the land. That the resources would be spread too thin. The farmlands would go bad. Could you not do nothing here and present this in a better way?
It is not that I do not respect our queen. I have nothing against Severine. But I have spoken with her on many occasions of what could be done for the plight of the North. And I have been ignored. It is unsavory what must be done in the name of freedom. And there will be years, perhaps decades, where there will be pain. But in the end, equality. Think of the orcs. Think of their people separated by a wall. Some deemed civilized to the south, some deemed monstrous to the north. Reunited. Think of the plight of the goblins. They have been used as fodder, as slaves. None have come to their aid. So yes, there will be bloodshed. And I regret it. But there will be freedom.
And what's your final goal? To get them past a wall? To take the kingdom?
I'm not taking a kingdom, Torin. I am uniting one.
Queen won't stand for this. You know that.
I do. I have made my choice.
This doesn't end at the wards and it doesn't end at the cities. You know this ends in the kingdom. What happens back home to our friends? What happens when we reach there?
At your use of the word we, you see a hopefulness light his eyes. Well, that depends. That depends on them. If they can see reason, if they can see a united realm, I will speak with the generals. They are to be spared.
How soon do you plan on acting?
He looks around at the room, at the spaces that have been filled. We are very close now.
Could you give me time to think? An hour or so. But I need to think.
Make a persuasion.
Oh,
And that one, with a -1 to persuasion, is a 0.
He's confused. Why would you need time to think? This is the clear route forward.
Malakar, my friends are there. My whole life. And you're asking me to turn against the crown. My lineage, my father. The gods know my brother isn't happy about it. I don't want to face him. I don't want to have to think about what happens. That's why I need time.
Puts a fatherly hand on your shoulder. My quarrel is not with them. It is only with those who stand in my way.
How do you propose someone like Kid? You know how stubborn he is. Been around him. He's not going to go against his oaths to the crown.
He will not. And as I have said,
Can't kill him, Malakar.
he doesn't answer. He looks away, but you can tell he's thoughtful. He's not dismissive. He's trying to come up with some other option. I understand your friends' lives, your brother's life. I understand there is nothing like, and you can see insight check for a second.
Mm.
Okay. 14.
You know him really well, and at the mention of families' lives, you see sorrow flicker in his face. But you've known him for the past 20 years, and you have never known him to have a family. I understand how difficult it can be, but I give you the opportunity to step away from an unjust system. I give you an opportunity to free the North. The choice is yours. And as you think, we're going to cut back to our friends in the woods. Ken and Oleg, you have made it back to the remaining 3 members of the group.
I'll dismount horse to a. Right, so there's not much time. Torin is going to see Malakar, and we need to get in there.
Gael storms past Oleg and approaches Ken. Are you still on the horse?
No, Ken gets off. I'm so
I
sorry.
help him down.
Gael will march up to Ken and push him. You did this.
I would love to hear your reasoning behind that claim, Lady Gael, but we do not have the time.
Ken, if anything happens to him, I will never forgive you.
So even after... I see.
What do you see, Ken? Please, draw another conclusion, please. Because your first one was amazing. It was so great. Please, draw another conclusion.
My first conclusion was spot fucking on.
No, it wasn't. He was trying to help us in the best way that he knew possible.
This entire time, he has had information that he has kept from us, pertinent to our mission, mind you.
What could he have known? Did he know where Malakar was? Did he know how many troops he had? Did he know what we were walking into? No, Ken, he didn't.
And you know that
you
for certain.
Didn't.
Because
you didn't give him a chance. We won't know because you didn't give him a chance. You didn't give him a chance.
I gave him so many chances. I took him aside. I talked with him. And he still lied to me. To all of us. So, if you really want to be mad at somebody and put blame on somebody, that won't get us anywhere. Right now, we need to find a way into that encampment.
I mean, I feel like we're missing the point here. Whether Torin has turned or whether he's innocent, he's in Malakar's hands now. So either he's giving him the information freely or it's going to be tortured out of him. He's going to know what's coming and we need to go now. There's more at stake here than your brother's life. And I know he's our friend, but it does not matter. If the wall goes down, the kingdom goes down, the realm. Gael, what good is diplomacy if there's no people? Ken, what good is being a queen's guard if there is no kingdom?
Good points.
Gaia will turn and look at Oleg with a fire in her eyes, and there's a little bit of accusation at Oleg. She doesn't say anything.
Well, I'm gonna insight check.
Inside.
Is it 14? So I maybe pick up on it.
Maybe pick up.
Maybe. Maybe.
She'll look back at Ken and just give him one long lasting look in his eyes, and the fire in the red in her eyes just burn into him before she turns to walk away and goes back to Anariel.
Anariel and Rush, are you with us?
To get Torin back, yeah. I don't think he's fully turned yet. But I'm not saying I'm not prepared that he hasn't. I
Whether
don't think we
he
should just
has
go.
or not, that matters little. We still have a mission. That is to stop Malakar. Regardless of anything else that's happening, the realm is in danger. That comes first.
So what's the plan?
Right, there's a sort of steep area in the back. We saw him walk down the path. We could get there. It's the closest distance to the tower.
It will be the quickest route.
I mean, time is not exactly on our side, so the quickest route is probably the only route. Could attempt us a Chewbacca. We've talked about, a lot of people are talking about it. If we don't like that, we could create some sort of a diversion, just enough to let us slip in. Once we're in the tower, I feel like there's no hiding. So then I feel like we're going loud and it's all swords and blood and carnage.
I think the two viable methods there are a distraction or going down the steep cliff edge to the tower directly.
Rush is the fastest. He can run to the other side of camp, cause a distraction, while the three of us go into camp. Anariel, you wait for Rush here, and you two can come together. He doesn't need to be coming into camp alone, and there's no way that I'm letting those two go after Torin by themselves.
I mean, we're not even going after Torin. I feel like
Yes,
we've
that's-
sort of fixated on Torin. He's collateral damage at this point.
He's with Malakar, right?
I mean, presumably, or he's in the torture chamber somewhere, or he's already dead.
Okay, so we're gonna presume he's with Malakar. So let's go.
Right, so horse can definitely not take free.
Perhaps horse stays.
So that was what I was going to propose. Anariel, Rush, when you come back, you can get on horse to her, and she will bear you the rest of the way. And then if things really pop off and get shitty, then you can take her and you can ride out, or you can ride in. That's up to you.
They're having their whole debacle between themselves. I would like to cast a message to Rush. Rush, you understand I can't let them kill Malakar before I speak with him. Whether you come with us, I have to go.
I understand. I will try to see another way.
How far away
anything-
are you when you're having this conversation?
It's
It's in our
message.
head.
It's
Oh, okay.
message.
Perfect.
You can't hear shit, man.
Oh, right next to us. Impolite to tell secrets. Anariel.
Well, it's fine. You guys will live, I think.
We might not.
You might not. Problem solved. If anything happens, Rush, go back to the kingdom. You have to warn them.
Hasn't Gael not sent her sending yet? Maybe she can send her sending to Finn.
I don't trust Gael's judgment right now.
Oh.
I need you to promise.
Yeah, I promise I'll warn the kingdom.
Thank you, Rush.
All right, so we're agreed on the plan? Yes?
I'm going with y'all.
You're going with us before Rush gets back.
Yes.
Very well.
Okay.
Let's make one thing very clear. Our first objective is to take Malakar alive so that he can answer for his crimes back in the kingdom.
I agree.
Killing him is a last resort to save the walls. Are we understood on that, Oleg?
I mean, generally, yes. It just feels like it's going to be a lot easier to just bring part of him back.
Feels like a lot of this would be so much easier if we just took out the entirety of the war camp in one go, but we don't have the firepower for that, and...
No, right, I'm with you. We go be together on this one.
I know y'all don't think Torin is the best option right now, but I feel like that's the only way we get to Malakar. If we win Torin back, maybe he can convince Malakar to come back. It's just something to think about.
Brush, with all respect, please. Let's not focus on Torin right now.
You're right. He's only your brother.
Let's go.
Okay, as we're walking, just I'm gonna stash horse to a sort of near before we descend. If things go kind of tits up, which they're probably gonna go, it's an escape if somebody gets out.
Can I pull Gael kind of towards the back of the group while we're walking?
I don't know how you're gonna do that, buddy.
Oh, I'm asking you if you're if
If you try to touch Gael, she will pull away from you. You can try to speak to her.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, so Gael's closed off to Ked completely right now.
You see that when she came back, she is Summer. You have never seen her Summer. And there is just heat, like she is filled with rage. Rage is fueling her at this point, and it is geared towards you.
Gotcha. Okay, so there's no talking with Ken right now.
You can try.
Okay. Ken will attempt to move backwards away from the other two so they can have a private conversation. I guess he'll indicate that to her and see if she's amenable to it.
She doesn't even look at you. How are you trying to get her attention? She's not even looking at you.
Yeah, gotcha. Gael, can we have a moment?
Quickly, say what you need to say.
You're aware of what I'll have to do if we meet with Torin again.
No, Ken, why don't you spell it out for me? What exactly do you have to do other than try to understand here and reach your brother?
Regardless of if I understand or not. Torin committed an act of treason.
You don't know that.
I do know that.
No.
He willingly, and I mean literally, walked into the arms of a known enemy of the state. I watched it happen.
The only thing that you can see in the way that you see the world is that he is defected. You cannot see that maybe, just maybe, he did the best thing for all of us by walking into the lion's den alone to protect us. Why can't you see that? Why can't you open up your... Are you so excitable to try to do this rune knight thing that you can't even see anymore? What's in front of you? You can't see another possibility that maybe he sacrificed himself for us. Why don't you want to believe that, Ken? Why?
It's not that I don't. It's every single time. For once, Gael, I really thought that you'd see things from my perspective. I thought you would be the one person that could understand.
For once?
Because every day growing up with Torin, it was always his perspective that was taken into consideration. It was always Torin that was able to do the things that Torin does and walk through life the way he wanted to. He could have it both ways. And I understand you're angry. I can see it very clearly. Torin is my brother. And I don't expect you to understand how a sibling relationship can affect someone's judgment, but I can't let it affect mine. I have a responsibility, and he may be able to shirk his. I cannot. So when I see Torin, I will do what I have to do and uphold the sacred oaths that I've made. He will be taken in as well.
Ken, I have always been on your side. I have always come to you for counsel, for advice, to just be with somebody who made me feel normal. I've always been on your side. And do you really blame Torin for the way that the world perceived him? For the way that others interacted with him? That was of no fault of his own.
No,
Just like it was no fault that how you were perceived and how you had to walk through the world. And yet here you both are. And you
Gael.
talk about oaths and you talk about commitments. What about the commitment to family? What about the commitment to your brother? What about giving him the benefit of the doubt? What about innocent until proven guilty and seeing perhaps, I'm begging you, another perspective? But yet you only see it from this rigid black and white standpoint. You can't see the gray.
You weren't there growing up. You didn't see the loyalty that he had to Malakar over our own flesh and blood.
And Kent, whose fault was that a boy was seeking love and acceptance from somebody? Is there no guilt that maybe you felt that he couldn't get that from you? That he didn't receive that from you, Ken, from your father, Ken, that he had to find that in somebody else who saw him and loved him for what he was.
Do you honestly believe that I've done nothing for him?
I didn't say that, but look at how quickly you turn on him and blame him for how the world accepted him.
At this point, we are approaching the edge. So if you have any last things to say, you're going to want to enter stealth pretty soon.
Yeah. I can see the actions that he's taken and the consequences of those actions. And I would hope you would understand that he is my brother, and I do love him very dearly. And the guilt that I feel and the anger I have in my heart cannot get in the way of the safety and security of the people's kingdom in which we serve. And I understand that after this is done, you will go back to your home, where you will live for far longer than the consequences of his actions today can touch. But I have to live in a world where my brother has betrayed everything I know. So, you can be angry at me all you want. It's not going to change that.
And we are at the edge of the gaping edge. Not a toothy maw, the gaping edge of this canyon. You can see that it's a pretty rocky canyon. As you can see, like in the picture, there are different patches of greenery, but then some larger boulders and things like that, where you see kind of crumbling shale. So it's relatively steep, but would be technically traversable.
Oleg, I should lead. I can see through the illusion until the point I'm assuming, and when we get into the camp, hopefully, and you'll be able to all see your way.
So glad you can see something, Ken.
Just
Yeah,
in case.
I was going to suggest we could fix a rope to other trees around.
There's some scrubby
Okay.
trees near the edge, yeah.
I mean, otherwise we can fix it to horse too, and it'll just sort of stay here. If need be, you can clamber up the rope and ride her off to the sunset.
To a tree is probably best.
You mean in case I die, because then we're not going to have that? Right.
That's yeah.
Yeah, probably for the best. Okay, I'm going to start working on that.
I know I'm on distract duty, but just in case I get caught, what happens then?
I crouch down to rush and squat. I put a big hand on his shoulder. Just don't get caught.
Good
If I
idea.
know anything about these people, they are not going to be kind to you.
But
I don't think there's a but.
you get caught, and they take you prisoner, we will do everything within our power to rescue you.
But also just know that we are probably also going to die, and we are not likely going to be able to get you back, especially if we're taking Maladjati alive. So I would just say the best advice I could give is don't get caught, because I know orcs, and I do know orcs, they like doing some pretty fucked up shit.
I'm going to cast Protection from Evil and Good on Rush.
Would you like a loud or quiet distraction? I'll be on the other side.
I'd say loud. Some of us aren't the stealthiest, and I feel like our descent might be a bit loud.
Okay. I can do loud.
All right, we'll start with Rush then. What's your plan?
I'm just kind of like walking away, like kind of fast, just looking back. I don't really have a plan,
On
but
the rim of you're on the rim of the canyon.
Mhm.
Okay.
I'm just like walking like I guess like around, trying to get like almost like to the opposite side of them, or like at least.
It would be actually a couple miles before you could get to the opposite side of them. It's kind of like a valley, just kind of running
Oh,
across.
okay. Then I'll just get like as far down as possible, like, so I can still see them, and like right before I see them like descend, I will just like kind of run somewhere down there and like attempt to grab as many attention as possible.
So to get down the side of this relatively steep cliff, go ahead and make a acrobatics for me,
Alrighty.
or an athletics.
I will make acrobatics. That is a 25.
You are able to hop from leg to leg as you are darting down this surface. You make it look easy.
Heck yeah. Alrighty.
Once
So
you notice, once you popped over the edge and descended, suddenly what you have not been able to see before, hundreds of tents. You see these huge hulking forms of beasts and creatures and orcs. You even see some elves in their ranks as just this massive army comes to life before your eyes.
Oh, well, don't get cold feet now. All right. I'll just like start like kind of trying to motivate myself to use my starting league speed. All right. Come on, Mom. Come on, Dad. Let's go. All right. And then I'll just like take off running, just yelling and like kind of like knocking stuff down, like just hitting stuff with my staff. Not like anybody, but just like hitting like stuff to like disrupt their camp, and just running as fast as I can.
All right. They instantly look your way and start coming over. You see the intent to harm. All right. Then they squint at you because they've never really seen anyone your size. You see one look to another. So, oh, just a pale fucking goblin, you think? And they look at you. They decide it doesn't matter what you are, but they're walking at you with murderous intent.
Oh gosh.
Oh.
All right. Well, I'll keep them like what they think is close, but like I know they're like far because I can just run. And if I have to attack, I will also attack.
As you are running away, oi! Stop! What were you doing? Did you stop?
No, I'll just keep like just like running backwards, looking at them, kind of mocking them.
Does an 18 hit?
18 does hit. Yep.
Out of nowhere, an arrow sails, collides into your shoulder.
Oh yeah, arrows exist. Fuck.
You take 9 points of piercing damage.
Can I attempt to deflect the arrow?
Yep.
Okay. So I just have to roll. I don't actually have to roll. It's only 9 damage?
Yes.
Okay, then it says if I reduce it to 0, which I rolled a 10 for 20 damage, so then I just catch the arrow.
Excellent. As this arrow comes sailing at you, heading directly for your back shoulder blade as you're running away, you hear it at the last second, and in just a miraculous burst of speed, you turn and you snatch it from the air before it can pierce your skin. But you see, as you turn, another archer has drawn, and you can see fingers on jaw, ready to release.
Just gonna keep running, and with the startling speed, well, I don't know how the turn order works now, but they have a disadvantage on attack rolls.
They also have disadvantage from the protection from evil and good.
Oh, please hold. Might just read that to me. It's probably faster than me.
Oh, sorry. It's only to aberrations, celestials,
that's what I was
elementals,
thinking.
fae, fiends, and undead.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So, yep.
Technically, double disadvantage cancels out, though, and becomes advantage.
Oh.
How math
Math.
You're always like,
Space
right.
Yeah.
Right?
All right.
We're running with that tonight.
So
Just making
fight
sure.
you.
Bestie.
I'm willing. So Are you just kind of trying to like play with them, or are you trying to get out of there at this point?
I'm trying to like play with them to see if I can still see like any of my friends going down the hill, and once they like get down the hill, then I'll probably make my way that way.
All right. So if you are trying to stay within their distance, then roll for initiative.
Right. And that one, oh wait, I have advantage on because of my staff.
Fix yourself.
17.
There you go.
We're good.
All right. So it is your turn.
Okay. How far is the one that shot the arrow at me?
Probably about 60 feet at this point.
Okay, then I'll get a little bit out of his range, and like try to take like as much cover as possible while still like knocking down their camps or.
You're kind of on the edge of camp, so you're kind of out of the like camp part at this point. You're just kind of being followed by the people who saw you messing around.
Okay, then is there like any like torches or anything like flammable nearby so I can like try to set fire to their camp?
It's at this point, you don't. Okay, now I have to remember. It's been a week. What time of day it is? I didn't write that down. I am pretty sure it's kind of late at night. So I assume that there would be some torches and stuff, but they're not anywhere near you because you're kind of on the outskirts.
Okay, then I will I'll continue just to run along the outskirts to like slowly make it, I guess, to this area.
Where the people are coming down, where your friends are coming down.
Yeah, I'm gonna like just attempt to like stealth and like try to make it like by just going like around the edge.
Okay, go ahead and roll stealth for me then.
13. Not very stealthy.
Not very stealthy. Is that what you're doing for your turn? Is trying to like sneak away?
I was trying to sneak away. Yeah.
Okay. We'll see if they see you. We'll give you. Oh, they don't see you.
Oh, okay.
I really thought they would.
I thought they would too.
All right, you are able to sneak away. You have caused a bit of a distraction. There is talk in the camp of like, what was that? Is there a strange albino goblin on the loose? So there was a bit of a distraction. People on the ledge, what are you up to?
Do we hear or see the commotion?
You wouldn't necessarily. It's a big
and
camp.
It's also
shielded.
Shielded.
Yeah.
Do I see the commotion?
It's pretty late and there's flickering firelight, and there's so many bodies moving around that one little one being pursued by a few people probably wouldn't stand out to you, but you're welcome to make a perception check to see if you can see it. I know, perception. Always perception.
Perception's your worst.
Can't see shit.
It's dark.
15.
Oh, yeah, you're able to see it. You see his little pale form darting in the moonlight.
Perfect. I'll give the signal then. Let's go.
All right.
Before we go down, Anariel is going to take off her amulet and put it beside the tree in hopes that the camp might see her as one of them.
All right. Sounds good.
So what do we see when that happens?
Nothing.
Okay.
Focus.
Yeah. Perfect.
It's a very specific amulet.
It is a very specific amulet, correct. So
I was wondering the same thing because we're wearing fairly plain armor at this point.
you have like cloaks covering your armor.
Oh, our good armor.
Yeah, you're wearing your good armor.
I
Okay,
take
I'll
the
do
armor
that.
off.
No, I feel like we're gonna need it. I feel like we're gonna need it.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
All right. Are you trying to stealth down or are you trying to go quickly?
I think
Yes.
yes. I think so.
All right, then roll for stealth.
It's not good. It's not good.
God damn you, Ken. I can see your rolls, Ken. I can see your fucking rolls, Ken. 12
Nat
for
20
both.
plus 4 for 24.
That one.
And
That's okay. We're right
Push
there
him off
with
the
you,
ledge.
Ken. That's a 5 for me.
A 5 and a nat 1.
Wow.
And
Who is
Gael,
we? Who is we?
So we got an
Gael,
average.
what did
Someone
you
who
get?
disappeared.
A 12. Gael rolled a 12.
I mean, 12's not that great.
12's not that
I
great.
wouldn't get off that high horse.
Get off
So,
horse 2
Anariel's
and come
gone.
down with us.
so you watch as Anariel disappears into the shadows. She slips behind a boulder, and you, even knowing where to look, have trouble seeing her. And you think, wow, what an easy little route this must be. And Ken falls and tumbles down in full plate armor.
Isn't there?
You are.
That sounds like someone's falling down a mountain.
It is a bag of cans rolling down the stairs. That is what we hear right now as Ken's Nat 1 crashes down the side of the mountain. Not far behind you, sliding through the rocks, this massive halfling misjudged his step. Gael, you just cannot help but make a sound of disapproval at the males in front of you, and then curse to yourself because your sound of disapproval was also heard by those people below.
Motherfucker.
Good start. It's a good start. It's a good, strong start.
Do we at least make it to the tower?
You crash your way to the bottom.
Broken
you make it
legs.
to the tower, but you see a retinue with spears pointed down at you.
Can I come out and be like, hey, it's okay. I got these guys. I caught them on the ledge.
Who the fuck are you?
She about to do the fucking
Who the fuck
Chewbacca
are
maneuver.
you?
I swear to God.
Make a deception or intimidation. You can decide.
Can I give her the help action?
How?
What would you be doing?
I would
I
pretend to be a prisoner. Obviously, yeah, I would pretend to be pick up what she's doing.
What does that look like?
22 without help.
Without help.
That's pretty good.
strong, independent, Anariel. Don't need no man.
All right, let's see if they're. I'm so sorry.
Damn it.
They nat 20'd.
No, they
Damn
don't. Disadvantage.
Oh,
Something.
Such
I'm
good
so sorry. This dice is
maneuver.
usually bad. This dice got the cuck chair last time, but this time it sees all. It sees
It
all.
learned its lesson.
It learned its lesson. I
It
Wanted to
mean,
be a
learned
part
its
of the fun.
lesson. Yep.
We almost got
Damn.
that.
What? I'm gonna ask you one more time. Who the fuck are you? You can see this is a minotaur, kind of like a gingery red color. You can see that he's got kind of the classic septum piercing, a large ring.
The lady already attempted to lie to you, and that didn't
I'm a-
work. Do you
Elbow
really
can.
have?
Why are you speaking?
and then I will bare my fangs to it. Tell Malakar I have found Ken, Gael, and Oleg.
And at this, he kind of tips
Oh.
his head, not
Oh,
not really recognizing the names, but he sees your teeth, and that carries some weight in this camp. Okay, wait here. And he gives instructions to the others, and he heads into the door of the tower.
I also want to look at Anariel.
yeah. I assume we're not getting any sort of explanation for that, are we?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
But when I do it, it's a
You're
problem.
not shot. I think that matters.
Well, yeah. Well, Mac, she didn't walk into the arms of the enemy openly and with a smile. So
Somebody mute
I don't
him
know.
right now.
Somebody mute him right now.
Rush, what are you doing?
I'm just with the mini distraction that I caused. I'm just still trying to just make it to them as fast as possible. So I can re-stealth, or if I can just action dash and just get there as fast as possible.
That's up to you.
I will re-stealth. I will try to re-stealth.
That really useful distraction that you caused for us.
Heck yeah.
It was so useful.
Wasn't big enough.
19.
Dream bigger.
I
All right,
know,
yeah,
right?
you're in the shadows, and you, creeping from behind the tower, see Anariel standing there speaking to a minotaur.
Gosh.
You see him disappear into the door. Meanwhile, cut to Torin.
Okay.
My boy, I know this is a lot, and I know I haven't given you much time to discuss this. But if what is right is not enough for you, have you considered what this would mean? He leans towards you. He knows you well. He knows what drives you. Torin Wardbreaker. Can you hear it? Can you hear the power that name holds?
I can. But if we do this together. And you make sure you tell me everything every step of the way.
I will.
I'm gonna reach out to clasp his arm. And just address him simply as Voidbreaker.
He gives you a nod. Wardbreaker, as he looks at you, shakes your hand. There is much to discuss. We are nearly there. If I must tell you everything, and you see him glance to one of the work tables, one of the workbenches in the room. It's a very sparsely furnitured room. There's not much, but on one of the workbenches, you see a glass, almost like a jar. It's thin at the top and then wider at the base, beveling a bit at the bottom. And it looks almost as though it's lit from within. It came at a cost, this knowledge. And he again gestures to the room. The toll was heavy, but a price I was willing to pay. And as he opens his mouth to respond, a knock at the door. Oh, sorry to intrude. I know you hate interruptions, but there's a vampire here that says she's got Ken and Gael and Oleg. I don't know if that means anything to you. Should I send her up?
They came here with me at Malakar.
See the shock on his face that you would bring someone.
Obviously, it wasn't ideal,
He's
but I didn't
actively
think they would storm the camp. Didn't think they were that stupid. Storm a war camp.
Oh my god.
You know what this means.
I know what this means, but hopefully it also means they didn't inform the knights. They're here, not there.
A valid point. Yes, send them up. And if you would, fetch the general as well, please. And the Minotaur gives a nod and backs out of the room. I'm sorry, Torin, for this cost.
I thought we'd have more time.
As did I.
Guess Ken's got his head too far in the dirt to see reason.
They are not my enemy if you believe they can be convinced to join our cause.
Maybe Gael. Maybe Anariel. But remind me, what names did he say? Did he say Rush?
Mhm.
I say this out loud.
No. Shh.
There's
Is there
another.
one missing?
One's missing.
He calls. Hold, sir. There's one more. Can I have a description, Torin?
Tall, handsome.
Exact opposite of whatever the wind just said. Short, wearing monastery robes, looks similar to a young child.
You'll also notice that Anariel's name was not said.
He just said a vampire, right?
Yeah.
I think if I passed over it when listing the names, I don't think that necessarily would have occurred. I think I just would have assumed that togetherness.
Mhm.
The ones I worry about are Kin and Oleg, though. I think they hold too far to their own oaths to see change. But maybe with time, even a mountain can come down if you chip at it long enough.
Time is a luxury we do not have. But perhaps, and you see him look away for a moment, let us see what they have to say. And we cut back to the ground. Oh, says there's one more missing. Fan out, look for him, little fella. Monk's clothes. And fetch the general.
I'll look to Gael as he says that. And how would he have known that?
She just shoots daggers at you. If looks could kill, Ken would drop dead right now.
That's such a valid point. Well, so that settles that then.
So
Are you trying to hide rush?
Yes. Do you need another
right.
stealth check?
Yep, another stealth check. Now people are actively looking for you.
18. Actively getting worse.
So far, you are able to remain hidden.
Okay. If they move inwards, this is going to be kind of difficult, but I'm going to attempt to stealth in with them. I know that's probably going to be a harder stealth check, but
Yeah, so they are getting kind of shuffled towards the door. So if you want to try and stay with them, luckily it is night, so there is a chance that you could stealth in with them. But I'd like you to make that with disadvantage, please.
Better start praying to the dice gods.
I'm praying right now.
We're looking for 1 in 200.
Rush me and
Can
put
I
this-
give him advantage by causing a scene?
Yeah, but
Right.
you don't know he's there though. You don't know he's there.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fair.
Only someone had messaged.
Oh,
Man, that could have been our kiss, Ken. It's gone now.
I rolled on accident, but I don't think I get any lower than that.
Wow.
So,
What was it?
on that one.
As you creep out of the shadow, you're looking away at the Minotaur walking away and walk directly into the orc that is standing there. You bump right into him.
Oh, hello.
I found the little one. And a
It's
spear
going so
spear tip down at you. They shuffle you inside at spear point.
Yeah.
All right. As of right now, Anariel, you are with them. You're the only one who's not actively at the tip of a weapon, though.
Okay. She's just gonna stand there confidently like she's supposed to be here.
All right. You are led up that same twisting staircase. You hear your feet scuffing on the stones. You can feel almost like the coolness radiating off of the walls as you ascend the stairs. You pass by the floor that has the sleeping quarters, a few trinkets, a few personal items, and the staircase continues wrapping the wall to the workshop where you see books piled, instruments that you don't recognize, and you continue, and then you break into the peak of this tower, and again you're flooded with the immensity of the runes that cover every inch of this space. And you see Torin and you see Malakar. Malakar looks at you, Anariel. I've not seen your face in camp before.
That's Anariel, sir. She joined us on
No.
our journey here. Some magic user, I believe.
Fucking traitor.
Savior.
Is
Get it
now
right.
in your direction as well, Anariel.
I did not come here for the same reasons they did, Malakar. I need your assistance.
Oh, you
I
see him raise a quizzical eyebrow.
I assume that I didn't know about this. I'd probably turn my head.
I have a vampire problem that I need to be rid of. And from what I've heard, you have the knowledge.
I have the knowledge, but not the time at the moment.
I will
Is it-
help you with whatever you're doing here, as long as I get my own help in return.
Make a persuasion, because he doesn't know that he can trust you.
Yeah, no, cool.
Just don't roll in that one with a -1.
No, a 19 plus 7, so
Hey!
26.
Torin,
Yes.
what's your read on this one?
Yes, Torin. Tell him. What do you think of the situation at hand?
Well, it certainly seems that everybody has their secrets. She's a bit secretive, but useful. She knows her way around a battle. And seems to be there when you need her.
But can you trust her?
I would trust her.
Then you may stay, Anariel, and we shall speak of your vampire problem. Now, and you hear heavy footsteps up the stairs. Now, for the rest of you, you cannot be risked, and you see a mutter of words as he flicks his wrist with a intricate hand movement, and the remaining members, still loyal to the realm, are now encased in a shimmering multicolor dome. You can see through it, but you, out of the corner of your eye, see it reflected almost similar to the wards themselves in different colors. It's just a semicircle dome over the top of you that has different shimmering effects, but you're still able to see what's going on in the room.
Can we hear?
Yep, you can hear. And go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
There is a heavy knock at the door, and as the door swings open, a massive orc steps inside. And as you look at him, you're almost confused for a second. And you tip your head and you look at Oleg and you look back. The features are so similar. It can only mean one thing.
Sergak!
Hello, baby brother.
You killed my brothers. Yeah, I'm like throwing myself up against the where was I?
The bubble dome.
Yeah.
As you are crashing against it, a cruel smile from your brother's lips. You'll be happy to know. And now you see in his hand 2 chains that he tugs forward through the door. Found a few more pets and pulled through the door. First, you see the form of a wood elf that you would have seen around Outpost Backle, one of the members of the race that was out on duty this time around. He should be with 6 other ward knights, but he is alone. He's bloodied. You can see he's got long silver hair, and you can see his fine-boned elvish features, and you can tell that he's been in a bit of a scuffle, and he's pulled forward chains at his wrists. And behind him, a face that you would recognize if it weren't so mangled. You see only one of the mossy green eyes that you should recognize. The other one is entirely swollen shut. Of the small tusks that are rising over his top lip, his face has been battered so badly that one of them has actually broken off at the tip. But you hardly see that. You hardly see the matted hair. You hardly see any of that, because across Finn's bare chest, you see the word Kure, Kure. And for those of you who speak Orcish, you can see it has been carved into his chest, the word pet. It's still bleeding.
You piece of shit! Have years of being a warlord softened you to the point that you won't fight me like a man?
For you, be like fighting a dog. And he spits on the floor. And he pulls his 2 into the room, kicking them behind the knees so that they're now kneeling in front of you. You see Finn look to the cube, to the sphere. His eyes, the one eye that you can see, flashes to Anariel, and you see rage in his face. In your head, you hear, I fucking trusted you.
I'm still like banging there is not a fucking day that's gone by since that I haven't thought of cutting your head from your shoulders and carving out your black heart.
That's the spirit.
So how's about it then? Have you forgotten the old ways? I challenge you here, in this shithole of a tower.
I'd certainly love to fight you, baby brother.
I'm not your brother, you're just some animal that shares my blood.
Now, I've got business before I cleave your head from your body. So, if you'll excuse me, I need to talk to the man. And he saunters away.
So who's the pet now?
Make an intimidation.
That is going to be quite respectable. That is going to be a 25.
You can see he lifts his lip in disdain, and his footsteps still. And he...
Right. That's the fucking spirit.
He turns.
Oh, no.
You also, in your head, you hear a familiar voice. You hear the voice of Finn. I think I got close enough. I think I sent a raven. I think it should make it. Don't lose hope. Survive this. And you see his eyes glance to where Sergok is taking slow, angry steps in your direction.
You even remember them. You remember Nick, Rorin, Carnarium.
The rest of you, insight check.
Do you remember Broker?
7.
14.
9.
15.
Rush and Gael, you notice you notice like a calculating look on Finn's face as he reaches out once more to Oleg. He may be the one who looks like you, but you're my brother, Oleg. You'll always be my brother. And before you can taunt Sergok anymore, you hear out loud Finn say the words, I am the eyes, vigilant in darkness. I am the blade that extinguishes the wicked. I am the shield against the endless terrors. And I shall know no, but he doesn't get the chance to finish.
Oh no.
As a blade is drug across his throat, and he topples to the ground. Sergok splatters the blood off of his blade and looks to you.
You're gonna pay for that one too.
I hope so. Little fight in ya. Now call me a pet again. See what happens to the other one. And he turns and goes to walk to Malakar.
Ken has been just dead staring at Torin this whole time. But when he sees that, his eyes flick over to it for a moment, and then he looks back at Torin. So, this is the lot you're thrown in with?
Progress is not without sacrifice.
That's what you'd call that. Sacrifice. Okay.
Torin, you don't believe that.
Throwing myself against the
Finn was
this
a danger.
trying to get a lay on hands to Finn.
We were
As
lucky
you
he was
are-
captured.
Excuse me while I find my correct page here. We got a lot of notes tonight. As you are throwing yourself against the wall. Do you want to hand me that sheet?
Yeah.
Too?
Well, I don't feel like I do.
Let's see. Go ahead and make a
I'll make it a check.
Constitution saving throw.
Saving
Oh.
throw. It's only a 13.
As you throw yourself against this wall, it pulses red as your shoulder connects with it, and you take
It's worth it.
$17 points of fire
It
damage.
wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth
As
it.
you are scalded, flame bursts from the prism of this wall and singes your shoulder.
Hmm.
Is he still standing, or like, what did that do? Or like how much did that do?
I'm okay. I mean, it's smarts. Smart's real bad, but I'm okay. I'm still up.
Okay.
And you hear Malakar speaking again to the orc general, Sergok, Oleg's brother. As As I had hoped, Torin has arrived, so I will need you to deliver this to him for me. Him is in italics him, a general him, some other that we have not yet met. And Sergok gives a nod. What do you want me to do with these fuckers? Knowing that Malakar doesn't like to get his hands dirty. He likes to view himself as the hero here of the story, not the villain. And Malakar crosses the space and picks up the aforementioned glowing vial and hands it to Sergok. Take him with you, if you wouldn't mind. He loves a game. Torin, I will give you a moment to say goodbye.
What if they choose our side?
What?
What if they choose our side, Malakar? Do they live?
Do you believe
Show mercy.
they could be replaced?
I believe each should be given a chance, just as we are giving the camp below us a chance at a new life.
Persuasion.
Come on, Torin.
That's performance. That's performance.
Oh, is that performance?
Oh,
I clicked the wrong one. Oh,
I see.
it's worse. It's 0.
Oh my god, bro! You can't make this.
For the record, that performance was a 2.
Wasn't meant to be.
It's not meant to be.
There's no way I can trust them now. You know this.
You're fucking right. There is not an ounce of me, if there is life in me, that I will not be an enemy to you. And the same for
I'm aware
Ken.
of that, Oleg. I'm worried about Gael.
Gael will
Rush.
look.
I think Rush will see our side.
I know where you and Ken have made your stand. You made
Malakar,
that pretty fucking clear.
this isn't the way, Malakar. I want to understand the why so that we can come to a diplomatic solution. This isn't the way. I had a dream. And Solara showed me what would happen if you do this, and it doesn't end well. This isn't the way. She said there's beauty in your goal, but we have to find another way to accomplish it. Please understand.
I understand that your heart is pure, Gael. And I do respect you for it. But I have tried reasoning with the Queen. This is not a decision I have taken lightly.
Let me help you. I'm here, Ken here, Oleg's here. We all have seen and we can all explain what has happened, and having more people to offer solutions. There has to be a chance. This can't be the way. This doesn't end well for anybody. The deaths on both sides. Malakar is.
I've made promises, Gael. If you are with us, then you are with us. But this is the way.
Torin.
I'm
you
going to,
can't.
at this point, slowly walk up to the edge of the barrier. So I'm just on the other side.
Okay.
Torin, you don't believe in this. You
didn't
I
hear
know
his
you-
plans. The glory. The things we're going to bring to these people. It's going to be
There's
a
a
new
good-
age, and it's time.
There's a different way. This is not the way. There has to...
There's been too little idle action. Time's now, Gael.
Okay.
Progress
so-
is not made without a little strife.
Torin, there will not be a little strife. There will be mass death. Fields flooded with the blood of the innocent. And that's not you. That's not what you want.
And
I know you
nature
want the good.
grows ever more beautiful in the ashes of the flame, Gael. Every time.
Solara herself said that there is no beauty in this. There is none.
I wouldn't expect a god who stays in the heavens to understand the plans of man. What lot do they have with us on the ground? Understand our plight as they sit up there and wave their hands. I understand it's your religion and I respect that. That's your option. That's not where I stay.
Torin, you don't want this. I know you don't want this. In your heart, I know, I can see it. You feel this is wrong.
It's not.
Please.
It's not. There's so much more good that comes out of this. Yes, immediately things will hurt. The wards will go down. The kingdom will uphold its rule. But the end is so beautiful, Gael. These people, you saw the goblins, you were there. You saw them, how scared they were. Imagine a place where they could live in peace. That's what we're bringing. Peace for everyone.
Is that what he told you?
That's what he showed me.
And you just believe it?
Do you see the camp? Do you see outside the wards the barons out here? I also
Torin.
see how exactly Oleg treats everything outside the wards. Is such hostility granted to those such as the scared goblins? They were just
Oleg
trying to
is
live.
scared. You know that Oleg is scared. He has been here before and he's seen the horrors. He was just trying to protect us. It might not have been the way that we would have. But we stopped him because we talked. We came together as a group and we stood up for the right thing, and we can do that now. But we have to do it together.
I'm doing the right thing. And Malakar tried for years, and it didn't work. Nothing worked. And that is why we are here.
And what is your plan when the war party moves through, when the goblins are liberated, where the orcs and the minotaurs and the vampires are all fucking and living in society? What happens when the horrors, the monstrosities, the aberrations, the things from beyond our dimension that the wards keep out? What happens when they enter your brave new society? Huh? What happens when they ravage and burn and destroy and consume?
We have all
Have
the
you thought
people
of that plan?
north of the wards settled and armed in a new kingdom with a new plan and a new guard. You're stuck in the old ways, Oleg.
You have no
You're
fucking
stuck in your
clue.
oath. It's time to see progress.
Torin. And Ken's face is no longer stony. It's he looks at you like he did before, or the blow up that we had. Torin, we've been through so much together.
Yes, I suppose that's what happens when you grow up together, isn't it? But did we grow up together?
Torin, I see so much of myself in you. Everything that I wanted in this life. Everything that got taken from me. And by all rights, I should hate you. I did hate you.
The funny thing about hate is it's got a weird way of someone's true intentions. So tell me, Ken, what's really at play? Are you afraid of progress? Are you afraid of a change to the status quo? Did Father's death scar you that much? Change happens every day, whether that's the sun rising, the leaves falling. Change happens, and it is inevitable.
Torin, are you making this choice right now?
I'm not making. I've made.
Then Torin Locktooth, first of his name, I renounce you from this family.
It's fine by me. It's
From here on
Torin
out,
Wardbreaker. Thank you.
you will not sully our name with your actions, with your future.
I'll show you. I'll show you that this was the right.
My boy, have you had enough time?
Rush. I'm sorry you got caught into this. You have done well. You have protected many. Sorry it has to be this way.
Rush is he just on his knees and looking at his braziers.
I'll give one final look to Ken. One final silent goodbye to the tie of my family. And I will turn and walk back to Malakar.
Malakar,
Say your piece.
there's going to come a day where I will find you. And I will take from you everything you know and love. On my oaths, I swear this.
And I'll be there to stop you.
Malakar puts a hand on your shoulder, Torin, and he looks down sadly. When he looks up at you, his eyes are hard, and you see that they are no longer the hazel that they were before, instead a ruddy red. Everything that I love was already taken from me. And with the flip of his hand, the ground beneath your feet begins to sizzle. You can see that there is a circle of blackness that is sizzling wider and wider beneath your feet until it encompasses all of the area on the floor beneath you and beneath Surgok standing next to you. He holds still the chain of the one remaining ward knight in his hands. Fins he has dropped as his life bleeds out of him on the floor. As soon as the circle is large enough, sizzling wider and wider, that it encompasses all of you, one last twist of his wrist. And Torin and Anariel, to you, it would look like they have vanished from existence. For the remainder of you, an odd sense almost of falling in a way that you are unable to tell which way is up. A sickening spin as you disappear from this plane of existence.
before that would have happened, I would have stood up and put my braziers on, and just while like the sizzling ground was forming, I would have just looked at Anariel and just like put my hand like on the orb and just a tear.
Anariel isn't looking at any of you. She is staring off, visibly crying. Not one person tried to convince her she didn't matter to anybody.
Malakar sees this and puts a hand on your shoulder. When you look at him now, both of you can see a different man than you saw before. The illusion that he's held on his form no longer holding. You can see that it's still the same face, but it's younger. It's free of lines, free of the gray hairs he's collected in his time at the castle. Instead, you see a frozen in time. You see pointed teeth as he looks sadly at Anariel. You are not the only one who has suffered for another's poor choice. We shall make them pay. Now we've got work to do. As we cut to our 4 remaining members, your feet hit a Martian landscape, sand blowing beneath your feet. You can see Sergok presses a cloth to his face and gives a cruel look in his eyes that as they crinkle with a smile as he drops the chain he's holding and turns into a building. The rest of you, as you try to get your bearings after having fallen and twisted and landing on this hard ground, you realize you cannot breathe. The air is acid in your lungs. You take a ragged breath, coughing and sputtering, and you see dark figures moving in around you. And that's where we're going to end the session for today.
Jeez.
It's a good spot.
Ooh. That was a lot.
Oh no.
Wow. Closing thoughts.
We didn't die.
We
You
didn't
guys are
die.
all still alive.
We
Every single
are-
one of you is still alive.
We're alive.
That is a good point.
but
We
at
did
what
say one of us was
cost?
at least going to die.
Yeah.
I was a little worried there for a minute, but we're alive. We're alive.
Man, I did not see Anariel turning. I probably should have expected it, but here we are.
I think that
Yeah.
one hurt more.
Yeah.
I think.
You're telling me.
Yeah.
Oh man. Anyway,
Yeah.
that'll wrap it up.
Such a heartwarming tale.
It's been a good
It's like
run.
Disney.
It is.
Man.
Hashtag fuck Torin is trending.
Oh,
Torin.
well, I guess we'll find out more next week what happens to Torin and everyone else. Everybody have a good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are. We will see you next week. Have a good one. Until next one.